which is the activity based learning on balancing between desirability, feasibility and viability. This activity based learning guides you through analyzing real world examples of design thinking used to solve our engineering problems. Here I considered the learning objectives are: understand how design thinking can be applied to engineering challenges. Here you always think about our educational challenges, not only industrial challenges, educational challenges. Then identify the key stages of the design thinking processes in action and analyze the effectiveness of design thinking solutions for engineering problems. You are already aware about what are all the iteration processes are available with the design thinking process. So you may understand how design thinking can be applied to our engineering educational challenges, and also you identify the key stages of the design thinking process is in action. What is empathize, what is define, what is ideate, what is prototype, what is test, and what is refine. So based on these key stages, you may analyze the effectiveness of your teaching learning process through design thinking solutions for our classroom problems. Yes, for solving this problem, because it is an activity based learning process, what are all the materials? The management provide you the resources, the institutions are provided you the resources. What are the resources you needed? A selection of case studies highlighting design thinking applications in engineering provided by instructor or chosen by students. The case study may be provided by instructor or chosen by students. What are all the materials required? Yes, the management provided you a flip chart or whiteboard. Already we may have the whiteboard in our classroom or laboratory. And then sticky notes. You may purchase the sticky notes, or otherwise you may utilize the digital sticky notes which is available with our PowerPoint presentation itself. I utilized the digital sticky notes for our presentation, so you may also utilize the digital sticky notes, and also markers and pens for writing the notes and prompt on the sticky notes. You generally write the prompt on the sticky notes for analyze the problem, so you may use the marker pens or tools. Then how do I prepare? You may give the 10 minutes to the students because it is activity based learning. So as a faculty member, you give the 10 minutes to the students. In the 10 minutes, you may divide the students into the smaller groups. The group may consist of 3 to 4 people. Briefly introduce design thinking and its core stages. Already I taught you what is empathize, what is define, what is ideate, what is prototype, what is meant by test. You briefly introduce in your classroom to the students, and then you distribute the case studies to each group. Already you divide the students into groups so that you may give the separate problem to the groups, and you start your case study analysis. Give them the 40 minutes of time. How do they conduct the case study analysis? Each group focuses on their assigned case study. You may give the different case study for different groups. So each group focuses on their particular problem. And then using the flip chart or whiteboard, the materials required, the first material is whiteboard. You may give the whiteboard to them. From that, on the board they write the prompt on the sticky note and stick the sticky note on the whiteboard. Each group collaboratively analyzes the case study. Following these prompts, what they write on the prompts on the sticky notes, they can discuss with each other and analyze the problem. Here the empathize is start, design thinking process is started with this case study analysis. Yes, what problem were engineers trying to solve? Who were the users impacted? These kind of questions they are having in that mind, and to give the solution, try to give the define the problem. Yes, how did the case study define the core engineering challenges? Likewise, you give the time to them to think. After that, they interactively ideate by using the brainstorming technique. There is Scamper available. Scamper, I will tell you about the Scamper. So, ideate process they utilize. What creative solutions were proposed through design thinking through brainstorming sessions, and they develop a prototype, which is prototype is not a final fidelity model, which is a lower fidelity model. The prototype may be made with the paper or chartboard. So the case study discuss the prototyping the solutions that lower fidelity model gives a better solution you try. If so, how were prototype used? And then test how was user feedback incorporated in the final solution. So finally we give the final fidelity model to them. So we enrich that model based on the feedback collected through the testing procedure. Finally, results. We announce the results through the two questions. What were the outcomes of the design thinking process? And the next question is, was the engineering challenge addressed successfully? These two questions are important to answer our user needs. And then you may give the prompt time to group discussion with 20 minutes. In group discussion, you may give the time of 20 minutes. The groups, every group presents their case study analysis to the class, highlighting key insights and the findings. How they are collecting the key insights? Yes, based on the sticky notes analyze, they are finding their own key insights and the findings. They discussed that key findings in the meeting. Yes, you facilitate time and environment by a classroom. They You facilitate a class discussion around the following questions. Some questions you may keep in mind to give the students, which are, what were the common challenges faced by engineers in the case studies? Likewise, they are discussing, and then how did design thinking help overcome these challenges? These kind of questions they are having in mind before analyzing. So then, were there any limitations to the design thinking approach in these cases? Likewise, they analyze. Finally, how can we adopt design thinking principles to solve engineering problems in our own work? Likewise, they are having the questions in the mind before going into the group discussion. After allocating the time and if you facilitate the classroom to them, means they are asking the same question in the classroom to the group and collect the answers from them. After collecting their respective solutions, they wrap up, and as the faculty member, you may summarize the key takeaways from the activity, group discussion activity, and encourage the students to reflect on how they can apply design thinking to their own engineering projects. Likewise, you may encourage them. So I want to explain with some example. I want to give some case study example what I conducted before doing the product development and before applying the product to International Patent Office. The same case study I have given here. The redesigning the previously available sugarcane harvesting machine with artificial intelligence. Here which is the case study prompt I am having. This case study explores how high nexus STEM research, uh, a renowned design firm, delves, explores into the design process, explores potential solutions, and discuss the impact this innovation can have on a sugarcane farmers. Likewise, we have conducted the case study analysis. Already I shown you a machine that are harvested the sugar cans in practical farms and with the real farmers. So the challenges met, the laborious and inefficient harvesting with the previously available machine. What are all the previously available machine? Yes, manual sugarcane harvesting is a labor intensive and time consuming, which is the problem I stated from case study analysis. And also it gives some causes. It requires skilled labor, which can be scarce and expensive. Yes, all laborers not having the money to procure that equipment, and they may go for rental basis. So the traditional methods can damage crops and lead to yield loss. The previous methods, the huge machines, are spoils the soil quality, and also it affects the stalk, sugarcane stalk quality also. So pre-harvest burning, a common practice, raises environmental concerns. When I utilize the diesel based or petrol based vehicle, means it increases the environmental hazards also. These are all the pain points I collected from the farmers. So these are all the challenges I am having. Based on the case study example, I may understand. Here I utilize the design thinking process, which is empathize. First I understand the user needs. So I may understanding the needs of sugarcane farmers. So I conducted an interview on the sugarcane farmers in Tamil Nadu to understand their harvesting challenges. What are all the factors I considered during the interview session means terrain variations, because lot of hills and valleys available inside the farm, and diverse stalk lengths. All sugarcane stalks are not having the uniform length, and labor availability. The human resource power, the man resource is not available, because nowadays farmers are converted to construction laborers, so that labor availability is not available. Then environmental concerns, they are not willing to affect their soil quality, because when the large machine is entered into their soil means the soil gets affected. These are all the pain points, user needs I collected from the farmers. After that I move to identify the problem with the defined phase. Yes, here I identify the key user needs based on interviews, define the key needs of sugarcane farmers. Here I consider the pinpoints as like efficient harvesting that works across diverse field conditions. Then the minimal stock damage and crop loss should be there, and reduced reliance or manual labor. And then based on the fourth customer need, environment friendly operation, consider eliminating pre-harvest burning. Likewise I may define the problem with the user need. Here it is the definition of problem. After that I move to ideate. Here I conducted the brainstorming session with my student. What are all the project members available with me? I conducted the brainstorming solutions with the AI and adjustability. Yes, AI and adjustable features to address the user needs, empathy, what I did, lidar sensors to map field topography and adjust harvester height for uneven terrain, because the pain points uneven terrain is available, because lot of hills valleys available on farm. So lidar sensors I introduced for identifying the topography of land, and automatically it adjusts its height. Then computer vision I utilized to identify the and track stocks for precise cutting and gathering, minimize waste. So from the computer vision I may identify the stock heights. From that stock heights I may adjust the blade height. From that I may cut the pieces, adjust the blade with respect to the height of the stock, and further adjusting cutting mechanism to handle varying stock lengths and reduce damage. And also I considered about the students considered about the stock damage during the cutting. For the reason also they are adjusting the height. And then my students are giving the idea about AI powered path planning is also important, sir, because the terrain is uneven, so hills and valleys are available. So we are giving the AI powered path planning to optimize the harvesting routes and minimize the soil compaction. Likewise the students gave the idea. For the reason we are introducing AI based system. And also final pain point is environmental hazards. Here we are removing the diesel and petrol coupled vehicles, motor engine coupled vehicles. We are transferred that vehicle into electrical vehicles. And also in our laboratory our students are producing biofuels, so we are introducing alternative fuels. So electric or alternative fuel option is suitable for the environmental hazardous painful points are. Likewise they are giving the solution during the ideas during the brainstorming session. We are incorporating the same idea into the product. Based on the student brainstorming idea, we develop the prototype with a low fidelity model. Low fidelity model is, which is not a final stage prototype, which is the elementary stage, initial stage model. So which is called as the low fidelity model. We are developing the low fidelity model, which is adjustable features for different stalk lengths and uneven terrain. Already I show you a photography of that uh, the sugarcane harvester, AI based sugarcane harvester, you may understand that from that image. Yes, user interface for AI controls. Example, there is basic buttons and dials are available in that machine, and consider a modular design for future upgrades and customization. These are all the things we are considered during the prototype based on the ideate session available with my students, conducted with my students on a brainstorming session. After completing the low fidelity model development, we are moving to testing session. In that, gathering user feedback. Yes, I gave that machine it into farmers. Farmers gave me a lot of feedback, so that conduct user testing with the sugarcane farmers in Tamil Nadu fields. I make in previously I showed you photos of farmer replacing a vehicle. Yes, then observe user interaction with the adjustable features, AI controls, and also gather feedback on efficiency of machine, effectiveness of machine, and ease of use. Because in previous missions it's difficult to move on the uneven terrain, so we can adjust that height of the machine with the AI powered, so that the problem is solved. Likewise, we can collect the feedback and incorporate that feedback solution to the product, and we refine the product to the market. And it is not a one-step process; it is an iterative process. So, already I told you about refining the design based on the feedback collected from the farmers. Based on the farmers' feedback, improve user interface for AI controls, and refine adjustability feature for optimal performance, and address any usability concerns. And also we are giving raising lot of questions for future of sugarcane harvesting based on efficiency, sustainability, and user focus. So uh, when we are having the reduced labor, what can we do? The automatic vehicle is needed, and we automatically reduce the minimal crop damage and yield loss, and environmentally friendly operation when we are introducing electric and alternative fuel vehicles. Based on these discussions, case study analysis, we come under some solutions. Design thinking provides a framework for developing innovative solutions. Already previously I am discussing about educational enrichment. Now I am proposed about product development for industry. So by focusing on user needs and iteratively refining the design, we can create solutions that are user centered, because I collected the feedback from farmers. So my approach is transferred it into user centered approach, because it is a design thinking approach. So the product is converted it into efficient manner and also sustainable product. So how did my case study analysis with the sticky notes? Now I will tell you. First, which is the white board I am having in front of me. After that, I divide my board it into three sections. In that, first section is called as problem analysis. Second section is called as solution analysis. Third section is called as further analysis. What I did with the problem analysis? Yes, I started my case study analysis. iNexus STEM AI sugarcane harvester, which is the my case study question. Yes, another larger yellow sticky note. I wrote my prompt as like develop a more efficient and sustainable sugarcane harvesting solution that minimizes safety risk for farmers. Likewise, I wrote on the yellow large sticky notes. After that, I moved to green, the smaller sticky note. In that I wrote like high labor costs and long working hours for manual labors, which is my first pain point. After that, worker safety risk from sharp tools and heavy machinery. So the second point is deals with the machine safety aspect, which is also another pain point. And the third pain point from farmers I collected, crop damage during harvest reduces yield and profitability. So these three are the pain points I got from the farmer feedback, which is the user need. How do I solve? How do I give the solution? Likewise, I may conduct the solution analysis in the second section. Here also I may utilize the sticky note. In that sticky note, first I use the red color sticky note. On that I wrote the prompt as like iNexus STEM AI sugarcane harvester. I again wrote that, and I introduced an AI powered machine designed for efficient, safe, and sustainable sugarcane harvesting. From that previous step analysis, I may write the solution analysis or solution requirement like this on the sticky notes. After that, I may wrote the prompt as a smaller causes for that solution. Yes, AI for automated harvesting and obstacle detection. Yes, AI is suitable for that. After that, efficient design for increased harvesting speed. So I may improve the mechanism, harvesting mechanism. From that, I may produce the efficient design for increase the harvesting speed. And also, when I introduce AI, I need the sensors. So, set the sensors to ensure worker safety and minimize crop damage. So, here I wrote 3 problems. For the 3 problems, I wrote the solution for the in second stage solution analysis. In that, AI for automated harvesting and obstacle, from that we can reduce the reliance on manual labor. From that I can reduce the reliance on manual labor, and also I increase the harvesting time and improve the safety. When I utilize the sensors, I may improve the safety. So it minimize the workers exposure to risks associated with the traditional methods, and sustainable practice, reduced crop damage, and promotes environmentally friendly harvesting. These are all the solution I provided and analysis with the case study second section. And third section is needed with further analysis. Not only my case study analysis ended with the problem analysis and the solution analysis, further analysis is also needed. For the reason, I may utilize the sticky notes. In that sticky notes, further analysis, innovation. Yes, internationally potential AI technology for a groundbreaking harvesting solution. Not only for my village, local solution. It is converted it into a global solution. So further analysis is also needed. For the reason, I may conduct a market potential and write a prompt on yellow sticky notes, which this sticky note represents addressing a global need for efficient and sustainable sugarcane harvesting, and future development. Also, we are considering the potential for adaptation to other crops or integration of advanced future. So, this sugarcane harvesting machine can be usable for other harvesting as like a paddy or banana harvesting. Likewise, it can be converted. Likewise, we are conducting analysis, and also we are having the another patented machine, banana harvesting machine. Also, we are having. Through that further analysis, we can identify another machine also. We are patented with the Indian Patent Office. During the sticky note analysis, we are discussing what were the limitation of standard sugarcane harvesting machine in developing countries. So, further analysis incorporated these questions also. Yes, what were the limitations of standard sugarcane harvesting machine in developing countries? We should analyze. How did user research, empathy area inform the design process? How your user need you, how you conduct your interviews, how you collect the feedback from the users, how you incorporate your users feedback on your ideate session and define session, and how do you incorporate user feedback on your prototype development session. Likewise, you may analyze in design process, and then what were the advantages of using readily available materials for prototyping. Low fidelity model needs a low cost materials, but high fidelity model needs a realistic material, so that how much it cost requirement, budget details you may develop. You may discuss the thing on case study analysis, group discussion, and then how did user testing contribute to the final design solution. So final fidelity model is the final stage model. How did you conduct your user testing interview? How did you collect the feedback? How did you incorporate that detail it into a product? Likewise, you may discuss on your group discussion carried out by cast students in iNexus research. I can show you now. Okay, here the case study analysis conducted by my K. Ramakrishnan College of Technology students on 9Nexus STEM Research Private Limited. Now I can share the video to you all. Here you see how my students discussing with each other. Yes.
Alright team, today we are here to brainstorm ideas for iNexus STEM on sugarcane harvester. So Tawfiq, as a product manager, how would you typically define this?
Start money.
Well, traditionally we would start with defining the product specification. Well, We will research with some farmers regarding their existing sugarcane cutting machine, and we analyze their strength and weakness by according to the.
Here you see in backside of my students there is sugarcane harvesters are available. They are discussing before making the product. Now you may see.
Survey, our engineers were made some alteration with that, and they made a design. Now the prototype is ongoing.
Start பண்ணுங்க.
It's a very good approach for things, but if there is any other way we could tackle this design thinking, it's focusing on the understanding the user's needs first.
Interesting. So, how would they work for the harvesters?
Okay.
We will start it by discussing with each weekend farmers, knowing about their pain points like long hours, risk, safety problems, and rotation methods and problems.
Okay.
That makes sense because we need to build something that actually solve problems for the peoples.
Okay. Start பண்ணுங்க.
But wouldn't they develop the but wouldn't they delay the development process? We need to get the product to market quickly.
Start.
We can brainstorm the solution based on the needs and then prototype it and test iteratively.
Start.
I like this new approach. We can learn from each prototype and define the design going into full production.
Start.
Alright, I am open to try this design thinking approach, but after we under the user needs. We still need to consider the technical feasibilities, right, Mukesh?
Start.
Absolutely, Lafik. But by involving me in the brainstorming process from the beginning, we can ensure the final design with the innovative and achievable.
Start.
Excellent point, Mukesh. This collaboration between design thinking and traditional product development sounds promising. Let's move forward by scheduling some interviews with sugarcane farmers. And Madhumita, can you spread that word?
Okay.
Absolutely, guys. I'm excited to get started.
Yes. Now our students are discussing with each other, and based on the sticky notes case study analysis, they may give some decisions before making the product. So this case study demonstrates how design thinking can lead to innovative solutions for complex engineering problems by focusing on user needs and iteratively testing prototypes. Engineers can develop products that are not only functional but also improve people's lives. These are all the things we are conducted through INEX system research on our institutions and develop the same it into the product. Already I shown you the photograph of my product, so you may aware now. Okay, these are all the things. These are all the activity based learning we should consider in our classroom. Now, the second activity based learning guides you through analyzing real world examples of design thinking used to solve the engineering problem. Learning objectives. 1 minute, please. Yes. If the feedback collection user interview role play activity is important. For the reason we are conducting the user interview role play with my student, I can show you through video. But how do we understand the engineering needs? How do we conduct a user interview role play activity? Yes, this activity simulates user interviews to gather insights from engineers or relevant user groups for a chosen design challenge. And the learning objectives for user interview role play are practice conducting user interviews focused on engineers, develop active listening and questioning skills for user research, gain empathy for the needs and challenges faced by engineers in a specific context. These are all the pinpoints you should consider to conduct the user interview role play. For conducting user interview role play, materials are required, which are interview guide. Before starting the interview, you should give the interview guide, flip chart or whiteboard. I conducted the sticky note analysis for conducting the user user interview role play, and markers and pens, and always two volunteers per group. Two volunteers are elected, two volunteers from student group I selected, and they are conducting their user interview role play. I can show you. But before starting interview role play, you give 10 minutes to them. Briefly introduce the design challenge to all students. You commonly tell all students. After that, you divide the students into pairs. After that, distribute the interview guide to them, what you prepared before interview role play, and explain each question and its purpose in understanding user needs to them. After that, one person in each pair volunteers to be the interviewer, and the other acts as the engineer being interviewed. And interviewers can personalize their approach based on the chosen engineer persona. Example, recent graduate or experienced professional. Then user interview role play, you won't conduct 1 hour or half an hour, just give 20 minutes to them. Each pair conducts a mock user interview following these steps. What are all the steps? Yes, interviewer introduces themselves and explains the purpose of the interview. I can show you an example video. And the interviewer asks questions from the guide, not randomly they are asked. You may give the question guide, from that question guide only they are asked, and actively listening the probing for deeper insights, and engineers response to the questions, providing detailed answers and sharing their experience with the design challenge. The interviewer takes notes on the flip chart or whiteboard, capturing the key points and observations. These are all the points you consider during the user interview role play. After conducting the user interview role play, you may conduct the group discussions for that consolidated point arrived from the user interview role play. So facilitate a class discussion around the following questions. You may give the prompt area, prompt questions to them, to prompt the groups. They may conduct the group discussion. What were the most common challenges faced by engineers related to the design challenge? After that, what users' needs emerged from the interviews? How can these needs be addressed through design solutions? Where they are any surprising insights gained from the role play? And then how can these interview techniques be applied to real world user research with the engineers? These are all the questions you provided to them and they are acted like that. After completing the user interview role play and group discussion, you may summarize the key learning points from the activity and emphasize the importance of the empathy and active listening in user research. Encourage students to reflect on how they can adapt this user interview approach to their own engineering projects. So then user interview role play in sticky notes you can explain. Here I want to give the explanation. You may divide your board into 4 areas. First area is concentrated about empathy, user needs. Second, frustrations, which is pain points. Uh, then pain points, frustrations with the previously available product. Then they come into the pain points, which are challenges. Then additional questions they may ask. User needs. I may write on the larger green sticky notes. What are your budgets challenges during sugarcane harvesting season? Which is the question asked to the farmers. Then what would make you job as a sugarcane harvester easier? I asked to them how this product will be easier for you. Then if you could change one thing about sugarcane harvesting, what would it be? If I would change the sugarcane, then what it would be? Likewise, I asked them. Then what are your goals when harvesting sugarcanes? Likewise, I asked as a empathy questions to the harvesting machine before going to develop the product and getting the role play. Frustrations. What are all the most frustrating points about your job? I asked to the farmers. When do you feel most frustrated during the sugarcane harvesting? And have you ever been injured while harvesting sugarcane? If so, how did it happen? These are all the frustration points I collected from the farmers. And finally asked, what are some of the safety concerns you have about sugarcane harvesting? These are all the feedback from the frustration point I have collected from the farmers. Then I moved to pain points as a challenge. Here I may collect the feedback and wrote the prompt on the yellow color sticky note that what physical pain or discomfort do you experience while harvesting sugarcane? Then are there any tasks during harvesting that you find particularly difficult? Then how do the weather conditions impact your work? Then what are some of the mental or emotional challenges of sugarcane harvesting? Likewise, I can develop the question as a challenges. Additional questions also I asked: how long have you been working in the sugarcane harvesting? They are answered me. What do you enjoy most about your job? How, as a farmer, how you enjoy your job? Likewise, I asked, what are your expectations for new technology that could be used in sugarcane harvesting? Based on this question, I may arrive as a AI controlled machine. How do you think sugarcane harvesting should be improved? So the AI based harvester I introduced based on these questions and these analysis. But my students are conducted a user interview role play with the additional questions. Now I can share my students user interview role play for your awareness. Yes.
Thank you for making some time to talk with me.
She is Madhumita. She is acted as a product manager. He is Taufik. He is acted as a farmer. Likewise, you may give the prompt time, prompt location to them. The students automatically conduct their user interview role play before practically conduct to the farmers. Then they trained. They conducted the user interview role play with the farmers and collected the real feedback and incorporate that feedback it into the low fidelity model and refine that model into applicability.
With me. I'm Andy Madhumita. I'm working on a project of making a new sugarcane harvester.
Sure. What can I do for you?
I'd like to hear about harvesting process from your side. Can you say about the challenges you face in sugarcane harvesting?
Where do I start? The work was very backbreaking. We worked a lot of hours under the hot sun by cutting the stalks by our bare hands. And sometimes it makes a cut in our hands and makes injuries are common nowadays. And the heavy cutting machineries are also very heavy.
It sounds so difficult. Can you say more about those injuries?
Mostly cuts from the machine, but sometimes backbreaking from bending over so long time. A few times I've seen folks get hurt from lifting heavy weights.
If there is anything else that concerns you so much about that,
Well, there is always worry about damaging the crop during cultivation. If you don't carefully cut this, it will damage the good crops also.
that makes sense. But what about the time of harvesting? Will it take more time or like that?
It takes so long time, every time by hand, especially with a fewer people needing to do this kind of work. So it makes this process so hard.
Thank you for sharing with us topic. We are looking to make an AI harvester that gives us artificial intelligence.
And AI harvester,
Yes.
it sounds very fancy. Well, it could cut the can without hurting anything and do it that faster.
Thank you. But if there is any suggestions you would give us for making us a better engineer?
When it comes to suggestions, safety is the most important thing. If we can cut the can without hurting a human, it would be a great achievement.
Thank you so much, Taufik. This information was very valuable to us.
You are all welcome. Hope this AI technology, AI harvesting things will actually happen and it will make a change in our
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the interview role play, user interview role play model we conducted in our laboratory. We are giving the guide, a question guide to my student, and the answer they have developed their own answer. They are answering me. Likewise, we are conducting that the rehearsal on user interview role play. In their role play, also they are finding some solutions to their product, so that we can incorporate their solution also, and also we collected from farmers the same solutions incorporated into the prototype. We can get the low fidelity model it into the final fidelity model, so which is known as high fidelity model we convert. So these user interview role play so students develop essential user research skills by simulating interviews with engineers. By actively listening and gathering user insights, they gain a deeper understanding of the design challenge and can develop more user centered solutions. So Now you may understand how the students will get the knowledge, how they are interact with each other, our classrooms how modified, so students are interacted with each other, and also they develop the product with the real time pain points. They are connected with the challenges from the real time manner, and also they are giving try to give the solutions to that problem, and they develop the product. So design thinking concepts are helping likewise in our classroom. I also the presented the same what I conducted with my classroom. I share the same thing to you, so now you may aware how do I conduct the group discussion for case study analysis, how do I conduct the user interview role play. But the faculty role is you should guide them, you should give the notes, prior guide, how do it you ask the question, how will you ask the question to the farmers, how will you discuss the you discuss in group, don't argue, you just interact the thing. Likewise you may guide them and give some sample questions to them. After that iteratively they may develop their own questions and they ask, so that our classroom environment keep is good. So you may develop your classroom culture as like this. From this, students participating and engaging our classroom activity in a eager manner. So this happens in my classroom. The same thing I want to express or share to you all to convert the classroom with the design thinking concept. So sorry, Manikam sir, I can share the link video sir. So you can, Manikam Kanara sir, I can share you the video link. So, Manikam Kanara sir, you can. Sorry, I am not seeing your comment during the presentation session. So now I share the YouTube link video for your connection. You can incorporate this kind of activity in your classroom also. From that,